I'm about to be.
I gotta wear my retainers in. Good morning. Try to play something to wake you guys up. Know you had a long night last night. That was the ACR Regional Hype Song last year.
Woo-hoo.
ACR.
Woo-hoo.
I'm Savannah.
And I'm Corey.
And we are area managers in the Raleigh market.
Cool beans. So, has anybody ever seen our compass of values? Cool. Well, this maps out our core values of service, integrity, and passion. And just like a compass, it guides our decision making at Mattress Firm. Does anybody in here like to go camping or hiking or any other activity in which you'd use a good old-fashioned compass? Maybe. I sure don't, but I can imagine, like you have, that if you're using a compass as your sole means to get to your destination, it is pretty important that it accurately points north, south, east, and west. Without one of those directions, you will definitely spend hours and hours roaming aimlessly through unknown territory. The same thing, while our Mattress Firm compass highlights 3 values that guide our company's journey to be the preferred choice for better sleep, we are here today to talk to you about another value. This value has helped guide our personal journeys, and we believe that it is important to your leadership journey as well. That value is diversity.
Now, we're all familiar with the amazing program Lead Hership, and it was the first time that Mattress Firm publicly pushed the diversity agenda. But diversity at Mattress Firm isn't just measured by women on our workforce or in leadership positions. We urge you to understand its importance, but to also understand gender is only one aspect of diversity.
Exactly. On our journey to Bed Talks, we realized that the definition of diversity is very subjective. Many people came up to us assuming that they knew what this talk would be about. Black women talking about diversity, of course. But it is so much more than pushing the female or even racial agenda. Today, we are going to challenge each of you to look past our exterior, really listen to what we are saying, and to think about the value of diversity objectively.
So let's take a moment to define diversity. There are various definitions for the concept. The best definition we could find was the inclusion of individuals representing more than one national origin, color, religion, socioeconomic stratum, sexual orientation,
etc.
And we decided to take it even further and define the etc. This allows us to cover people from diverse experiences, backgrounds, and one of my favorite forms, diversity of thought. Now that we have a firmer grasp on what diversity is, we can talk about why we believe it's so important to our organization. For starters, diversity encourages social awareness. We tend to gravitate towards people who share our views, opinions, and backgrounds, but in order to truly reap the benefits of workplace diversity, it's important to shake things up a bit. Avoiding the ease of groupthink is going to be difficult, but we have to be willing to embrace different ways of thinking. When all think alike, then no one is thinking.
Also, embracing diversity allows us to have conversations about the difference between equality and equity. We are often so focused on treating our people equally that we don't really hone in on their unique abilities and needs.
And lastly, the connection between Mattress Firm and diversity for us is obvious. We already promote diversity in our products and serve a diverse community of people. We embrace a diverse product line by teaming with the best and most innovative manufacturers in the industry. Additionally, we provide something universally important, better sleep. Providing something that appeals to all demographics allows us to serve an extremely diverse clientele. Ultimately, we chose diversity as our 4th value because it's been such an integral part of our lives. Now, I want you all to take a moment and to picture this. In the earliest stages of your childhood, as you're growing up and learning about the world around you, you learn there's a limit on what you can do. For sake of reference, let's call it a ceiling. As you grow older and do more, one tile after another is added, each individual tile representing a time or moment someone told you you couldn't or shouldn't do something. Having similar backgrounds has allowed Corey and I to share some very similar tiles. Today, we're going to share some of our stories about some of the tiles that made up our ceiling.
For young Black girls, we are taught from the first day we can truly comprehend that life for us would be hard. If you watch Scandal, you might recall Olivia Pope's father taught her you have to be twice as good as them to get half of what they have. When I was a freshman in high school, we read a book called Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. Unfortunately, this was the first time I had ever read a book in school about a little girl who looked like me, so I was pretty excited. We read the book out loud in class every day, and in one of the earliest scenes, the grandmother of the main character, Janie, tells her, "The Black woman is the mule of the world." Those words cut down to my core. I had mixed emotions of panic, embarrassment, but ultimately confusion. I just heard that I was a mule of this world, but what does that really mean? For us country folk, we know that a mule is a cross between a horse and a donkey. It's strong like a horse, but slow like the donkey, and burdened with the inability to ever reproduce. For me, a mule is bred solely to work and to die. For me, being compared to a mule was one of the biggest tiles in my ceiling.
Well, let's fast forward 7 years. We are now juniors in college, and it's my first semester in the School of Journalism at the University of National Champions at Chapel Hill.
Tar
Heels!
I see you, Jody.
It's a Carolina thing. Woo. One of the most memorable classes was with Professor Abernathy, a world-renowned journalist. She taught us about the various career journeys to executive leadership roles. Now I want you all to take a moment, and this time I want you to visualize this. You're in the classroom, and Professor Abernathy puts up a graph that plots success over time. She then proceeds to discuss the importance of a champion, or what we call today, a mentor. Now this is a person that promotes, coaches, and teaches someone to be the best version of themselves. However, in executive leadership, she notes, these champions or mentors often lack diversity. She then turns back to her graph and loads this line. She says, "This resembles the career journey for a Caucasian male. This champion sees himself within the man and aids in his advancement." She then loads the second line. She says, "This resembles the career journey for a Caucasian female. This champion is able to step outside of the gender difference, sees his mother, daughter, maybe even sister within the mentee, vouches for her credibility, and her career continues to grow. But after this champion retires and can no longer vouch for her skill set, her career then becomes stagnant." She then loads the third line. She says, "This is the graph for minority men. Initially, their success is stagnant, but this champion is able to step outside of the racial difference and sees himself within the man. Once he aids in his advancement, his career has unlimited potential." She then loads the fourth and final line. She looks at me and she sighs. She says, "Unfortunately, this is the graph for minority women. There's not enough representation to distinguish an incline. These champions aren't able to step outside of the multiple differences and help coach them into these positions." You can imagine how I felt at that time. Another tile added to my ceiling. This was the graph that was supposed to plot my success, and it was a constant, steady plateau.
So let's fast forward one more year to our fall semester as seniors. I've completed my coursework and pulled countless all-nighters. Now I'm ready for UNC to show me the money. So I go to our career fair and I'm in shock. I walk up and down the 7+ aisles of 100+ employers till somebody yells, "Hey, Carrie." I immediately spin around because this person was going to learn that K-O-R-I is pronounced Corey and not Carrie. I walk up to the booth and meet Dustin Latta. He's happy and cheery.
Wait, that's not Dustin. This is Dustin.
Oops, well, I thought they kind of look kind of similar. Well,
Shady boots.
anyways, he convinced me to attend an info session later that night. I walk into a room full of people of different ages, colors, and backgrounds. It truly blew my mind how many different people work for Mattress Firm, and not to mention they all really like each other. So I started here at the firm 7 days after graduation. After a month, I got promoted to assistant store manager. 2 months after that, I'm at the largest store in the district. And some more months go by until one of the Top Guns sends out the finalized sales for the year, and I couldn't believe I was number one. Even after seeing my name at the top of those rankings, I still couldn't see past all those ceiling tiles. Now, it wasn't until my champion stepped in. It was after work at a party, and I was in one of my I hate my job rants that we all go through, when he stopped me mid-complaint and said, well, if all that is true, you really don't want to be here, then why are you still here? Corey, look how much money you've made, look how much work you've done, you aren't even giving 100% of your effort. Imagine how far you can go in this company if you actually tried. And he was right. With that one conversation, he pulled back just one tile through which I could see unlimited career potential. All that was left was for me to pull down the others. After some self-reflection, I realized that my work ethic and opinions were well respected. My contributions to the company were well recognized, and I had not one but several champions in my corner. And that is why we truly love working here and why we are so passionate about embracing and showing the diversity here at the firm. But our experiences as Black women only reflect one kind of ceiling. For someone else, it could be that they are from a small town or that their first language isn't English. Most of the ceilings in people's lives are ones that you can't even see. So you might be asking yourself now, how can you make a difference? How can you go home and promote diversity back in your market?
You can go back home and be the champion. A champion is more than a title. It is a commitment. It is a commitment to develop someone to be the absolute best version of themselves. Back in Raleigh, we do this by embracing a strength-based leadership approach to ensure both diversity and the success of our teams. Research has shown that the most effective leaders not only know their strengths, but also invest in the strengths of others. They recognize that in order to have the most effective teams, it requires an investment in the art of understanding people, especially those that are dissimilar to you. We find comfort in those who agree with us, but growth among those who don't. At Mattress Firm, we seek growth. Let's remember, a moment of truth is a defining act in which someone forms or changes their opinion about something. Embracing diversity will create your moment of truth that you can share with the world. Those who embrace diversity and value it in their hearts and in their lives are the leaders who tear down the ceilings for those on their team. They empower the next generation of leaders who will continue to map our company's journey to becoming the preferred choice for better sleep. Thank you.